So unless you've been living under a rock lately, you've probably heard about the lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors. If you haven't heard about it, I'm going to briefly tell you some of the background because what I want to get to is what this means to you as a buyer or a seller in the real estate market. Hi, my name is Nora Spangler. I'm a realtor here in beautiful Bend. I'm with Stellar Realty Northwest. This is a huge topic, so this video is going to be a little bit longer than my normal videos, but stick with me. It's really important if you're thinking of buying or selling a home anytime soon or in the future. Things are changing, big things are changing, and you really need to be aware and knowledgeable before you move forward into buying or selling real estate. So this case was decided recently by a jury of 8 people in Missouri in the federal court. And of course, it's going to be appealed by the NAR, so we really won't know for a long time what the true outcome is. But the NAR was ruled against. The jury voted that the complainant or the plaintiff was correct, and they won against the NAR. What were they complaining about? Well, they were saying that the National Association of Realtors and some of the larger real estate companies, brokerages, were conspiring to push prices up and to fix what you pay your listing agent, to fix that so that nobody had a choice, really, so that consumers, were left just paying a certain price. I listened to an interview of the lawyer bringing this case against the NAR, and he claimed that the NAR was a cartel. Well, I had to look it up, I'm ashamed to say, but I've heard of drug cartels, but I didn't really know what that meant. So what a cartel is a bunch of businesses or companies getting together to fix prices and basically freeze people out from having any negotiating power. That's what they claim realtors and our brokerages and the association have done. If you find value in my channel, and especially in this video, would you give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Next week will be an update on the real estate market numbers, what happened in October, and kind of where I see the year ending. So stay tuned for that. So you might be wondering, what is going on? Can I still buy or sell a home? What should I do as a consumer? What has actually changed? Well, right now, not a lot. Until we hear from the judge who can say what injunctions are going to be held against the NAR, and if any rules have to change, we just have to wait and see. But honestly, the system could go in a couple different directions, but let's just take a peek at what might happen if kind of the worst case scenario where the plaintiffs in the case, what they wanted to have happen is for sellers to pay approximately half what they're currently paying. So they just want to pay for their agent. So let's say that that is now true. Okay, so I'm the listing agent and I'm getting paid by the seller. I need people to show this house and bring a buyer to the deal, right? As a listing agent, I might have a buyer who would be interested in this house, but honestly, it's never happened for me. All the homes I've listed, another agent has brought the buyer to the deal. The weird thing about real estate is that you as the consumer actually get to see how much the buyer's agent commission is. Now, you don't get to know how much the seller is paying the listing agent, but you get to know, if you're the buyer, what your buyer's agent is going to get paid. Now, how many people are required to put their income in the public view? I mean, I just find that really strange. When I act as a buyer's agent, everybody and their brother gets to know how much I'm getting paid. It's considered very impolite to ask people what they make. How much commission are you getting on that car sale? People don't do that, but real estate, yeah. So I'm going to show you here in Zillow where you can see how much the buyer's agent would make. So if the people bringing this lawsuit get their way, that number is going to say 0. Okay, So you as the buyer, you can see how much your agent is going to get paid. And if they're going to get paid zero, then are they going to work for you? No, they're not. And so what's going to happen is we are going to begin, if we aren't doing this already, is have our buyers sign what's called a buyer broker agreement. And this is going to detail how the buyer's agent will get paid in the case where the listing agent is not offering any sharing of their commission. But as the buyer, when you're going through listings and you see that there are some listings where your agent is going to get, let's say, a 2% commission, and there's some where they're going to get zero, and you are going to have to pay that extra commission to the agent who is working her tail off for you and probably has been for months, maybe even years. Yes, I've worked with clients sometimes for years before they actually purchase a home. Do you think you would be more likely to look at both of those homes equally? The one that's going to pay your agent for you and the one that's not going to pay your agent, and you're going to have to bring more money into the deal to pay your agent? That's the false idea here with this system that they want to have happen. I think the system we have works well, and sellers most likely have equity in their home and they're coming out with some cash from the sale of a home. Buyers, on the other hand, typically are scraping together money for a down payment, closing costs, moving costs, furniture, maybe the house needs a fence or it needs some updates. So many expenses involved in purchasing a home. I think if we went in this new direction where buyer's agents are no longer allowed to be paid for the listing agent's commission, that very well might bring about a system that is very bad for buyers, a system where a lot of buyers just not be able. It's already so difficult, right? We're in the worst affordability real estate market in the last 40 years right now. So on top of that, let's make the buyers pay even more. Do you think that you don't need a buyer's agent? And that's a valid question. Is there value in having a buyer's agent? I hope that every client I've ever worked with would answer yes. Yes, we felt that Nora's services were very well worth what she got paid. Now, they didn't pay me directly, but I hope they would still say that. And it might come to that. You might have to decide, is it worth your money to pay a buyer's agent? So if you're thinking about that, let me ask you this question. If you got sued and were taken to court, would you go into that courtroom on the day of your hearing and look over at the person who's suing you and look at their attorney and say, oh, by the way, I would like you to represent me in this matter. Would you please fight for my rights as well as your client's rights? Nobody would do that. Everybody goes to court with their own representation. Buying a home is probably the most expensive financial decision you are ever going to make. It's an intense legal process where contracts are being signed, and you can be in big trouble if you don't follow through on what you've promised in a contract. So I ask you, would you be willing to walk into court unrepresented? And that's the same thing with real estate. Are you going to be willing to do a real estate transaction all on your own without the help of a buyer's agent? It's a question that we're going to have to be asking ourselves, and I just want to educate my clients and potential clients that if you're watching this channel brings most of my business to me, and so you're probably vetting some real estate agents and you're listening to this and you're thinking, is this a person I want to work with? So I hope that's what you're thinking, and I hope the answer is yes. And I do bring tons of value to my clients. I am totally full service to my clients. Literally, I have gone to people's homes and let them in, let workers in, I have set garbage cans out, I have cleaned, I have done tons of things for my clients, and I enjoy doing that because I want it to be as easy and stress-free as possible. Real estate deals are stressful, and there's lots of moving parts and deadlines, and if you don't meet them, you can be out of contract just like that. I mean, you can blink and you're out of contract. You could lose the house, the deal, the home you were hoping for if you don't have an agent who's staying on top of things for you. So it really is important. We do work hard, and I think we're worth what we get paid or what we can negotiate to get paid. So it's always negotiable. You should know that. Start off negotiating with your real estate agent, but also be willing to pay them what they're worth. You might wonder if this system's, being called corrupt and like a cartel, is it really that bad? And you're freaking out thinking, oh my gosh, I'm part of this terrible real estate system in the United States. Well, hold on a minute. So what do other countries do? Did a little research, and I've learned, and there's a link down below. You can read through an article from the UK. So the UK, they just have estate agents, and the estate agent works for the person selling the property. But you've got to go through them. You can pay for your own buyer's agent. It's true. You can pay for that. But generally, most people don't. And so what happens is, as a buyer in these other countries, you've got to go to every single home. Can you imagine trying to move to Bend and call every single listing? Oh, I want to see your home. I want to see this home. And you don't know these people from Adam, right? They have no obligation to you to be fair or ethical, nothing. You are not their client, and yet you are going to be willing to use them to write a contract, tell you all the total honest truth about this home that they're trying to sell for their client, whom they are obligated to. And you're going to go through them to buy this most expensive, probably $500,000, $1 million, whatever it is, property without your own representation. That's how it works in other countries. So in the US, we have what I think is a better system where buyers can be represented very easily without a huge cost. And I would say that the cost is kind of just baked into the price of homes. For the last 100 years, this is the way it's been done. So real estate has been selling and being appraised at prices. Nothing really is going to change. This system has been around for more than 100 years. And what it does is it is on the side of the buyer. It gives the buyer more power to negotiate and to get into real estate with representation, but without having an initial outlay of that money. So we don't know what's going to happen with this lawsuit. Stay tuned. I will definitely update you. We're waiting for the judge to say what if any, injunctions he is going to place on the National Association of Realtors, and then that will trickle down, and who knows what policies will change. I will keep you updated. But let me just say this. If you like me and you want to hire me as your realtor, you will need to sign a buyer-broker agreement, which means that if the rules change or whatever, and the listing agent will not share a commission with me equal to my minimum fee, then you would be liable to pay the rest. That's just the way it has to be, because I can't work for free. I mean, would you work for free? No. Nobody works for free. That's called volunteering. And I am not a volunteer realtor because I have way too many bills and fees, and it's very expensive to be a realtor. That's just the way it's going to be. So be aware, and whoever you hire, ask them about their buyer-broker agreement. Look at it, read it, negotiate the fee. You can negotiate with me on how much my services are going to cost you. And most likely, sellers and sellers agents, listing agents are still going to be offering to share commission with buyers agents, because they know that that is how the system works, and it just could be a disaster if we try and upheave the whole thing and get rid of this system. So I'm going to stop now because I could keep going on forever. I love what I do. I love being a real estate agent. If you're looking for an agent in Bend, please reach out to me. I'm always available to take your call, your text, your email, whatever. All my contact is down below, and just reach out and I'd love to chat with you.